So here, factorizing a quadratic expression like this one here, this expression here on the right is called a monic quadratic. So monic means that the number in front of x squared is 1. So they are of this form, 1x squared plus bx plus c. So this would be a monic quadratic like this one here. So here the idea is, how can we put this in brackets? How can we factorize this? Well, factorize, what does it mean? It means we want to rewrite this as one pair of brackets times another pair of brackets here. And we know for a fact we will always have x in the first pair of brackets and x in the second pair of brackets. So really what we are looking for is what we're going to put after the x in both brackets. So let me show you here how we do that. Well, we always say I'm looking for two numbers which add to give me the number in front of x, which in this case is 11. And I want those same two numbers to multiply to give me 24, which is the constant, the number on the end. So here 24 you would get by doing 1 times 24, or 2 times 12, or 3 times 8, or 4 times 6. And I know somebody has put their hand up to say which one of these options would be. So feel free to call it out. So which one of these pairs of numbers adds up to 11?
3 and 8.
3 and 8. Excellent. So effectively it's this pair right here. It's the only one which when you add positive 3 and positive 8, it gives you positive 11. So these are the correct ones. So basically all we have to do is go back to the brackets here and put a plus 3 and a plus 8 inside the brackets. And this is the final answer, the fully factorized form. Let's just double check, because sometimes you might be skeptical. You might be skeptical about this. Why does this work this way? How can I believe you? How can I trust you? Well, you can check. You can actually expand the brackets, x plus 3 times x plus 8, and see if that gives you the thing that you had originally in that question. So if we expand the brackets by multiplying x by x, you get x squared. Then x times 8 gives you 8x. And then if you carry on with multiplying the 3 by x, you get 3x. And 3 times 8 gives you 24. And then here, this 8x and the 3x, if you add them in the middle, you get just 11x. So x squared plus 11x plus 24 indeed gives you what we started with. So now you can believe me, this factorization actually worked. Okay, so just to recap, we find two numbers that add to give us this number in front of x, and we want those same two numbers to multiply to give us the number at the end, which we call the constant. So these are the two numbers, 3 and 8, and we'll just put them in the brackets in the way we did. Let's do one more example just to see in some cases, if you have negative numbers, how does that work? Well, let's see. Here we are looking for two numbers that add to give us minus 7. So we take it with the minus, and then we want those same two numbers to multiply to give us 12. Guys, can you please mute yourselves so that we don't have the echo? There's somebody in the chat at the moment who hasn't muted themselves. Thank you very much. We want two numbers that multiply to give us 12. Let's start with this one. So which numbers multiply to give us 12? Well, it could be 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4, if we're talking about positive numbers. But notice here, we've got a bit of an issue. We want the numbers to multiply to give us minus 7. So here, I would say, well, both numbers could be negative, right? Because two numbers that multiply to give you positive 12, they would either both be positive or they would both be negative. So they could be minus 1 and minus 12, minus 2 and minus 6, or minus 3 and minus 4. And now out of these options here, which pair adds up to give us minus 7? Well, that would be the minus 3 and minus 4. So now we're ready to go ahead and factorize this quadratic expression. So we'd have two pairs of brackets, would have an x in both pairs of brackets, but then inside next to the x, we'll go ahead and copy the two numbers we got. So we got minus 3 and minus 4. So let's go ahead and just copy those numbers here. Minus 3 and minus 4. So this is the final answer. X minus 3 times x minus 4. So if you went ahead and expanded these double brackets, you would see that the final simplified version would be x squared minus 7x plus 12. Now, one final step here. In some cases, they'll give you something which looks a bit more tricky, like this question here, 77 plus 4x minus x squared. Well, what I would recommend in these cases, firstly, rewrite this because the order is just not nice. We're not used to this kind of order, 77 plus 4x minus x squared. So feel free to rearrange the terms here, putting x squared in the first place, then the 4x, and then the 77. So here you would have minus x squared plus 4x, and then plus 77. So effectively, there's an invisible plus in front of the 77. So think about it this way. But here we don't really like to factorize something like this because we have a minus in front of the x squared, and that makes our life a bit tricky. So what we tend to do in this case is we rewrite it as minus and then change all the signs inside the brackets. So here we effectively take out a common factor of -1 or minus here without the 1 written in there, and then we go ahead and change all the signs inside the brackets, because remember the minus actually changes everything. So here instead of minus x squared we'll have positive x squared inside the brackets, instead of plus 4x we'll have minus 4x, and instead of plus 77 we will have minus 77. And you could easily double check whether this is right by expanding the brackets. That would give you minus x squared plus 4x plus 77, which is indeed what we have here. Now, let's go ahead and finally factorize this expression which is inside the brackets, because we know how to do this now. This number in front of x here is -4, so we're looking for two numbers that add to give us -4. And we want those same two numbers to multiply to give us -77. So from this now, we know that one of the numbers is going to be positive and one of the numbers is going to be negative. So let's think long and hard about the combinations here and make sure that one of them is going to be positive and one of them is going to be negative. So let's think of the options. Well,
11 and 7.
11 and 7, you're close. One of them needs to be negative.
Also, negative 11 or negative 7. And positive 11 or positive 7.
Yes, so one of these is correct.
Negative 11 and positive 7.
Exactly, that's it. Yes, negative 11, positive 7. So that's it, guys. Let me just very quickly write down all the possible cases you could have here. There's only 4 of them, I think. Negative 7 and positive 11, and then finally 7 and negative 11. I think that's all the options, isn't it? Yes. So 4 options, and out of these 4, you will see that actually, yes, indeed, you're absolutely right. It's -7 and positive 11, which are the two numbers. So here we can actually rewrite this as, let's see, we'll have a minus in front of the brackets, and then inside the brackets we will have x -7 and then x plus 11. So this would
Sir, why it's like that? Shouldn't it be negative 11 since it's negative 4?
Oh, sorry, actually, that's the one. Yes, you're absolutely right. I think I circled the wrong thing, actually. I said positive 7 and negative 11, but I circled the wrong thing.
Oh, it's x minus 11 and then x plus 4.
Exactly. Let me just correct this, guys. Sorry, my bad. That's not the correct answer. Let me just cross this stuff out. It's this one down here, right? Like we said, it's negative 11 and positive 7. Which gives you -4 when you add it and -11 when you multiply it. Thanks for the correction. So let's go ahead and change this. This should be positive 7 here, and in the next pair of brackets we should have negative 11. So let me just erase that and make that into a negative 11. Right, my bad, and thanks for spotting that out. So yeah, that would be it. So you can leave that minus there if you want. You could put the minus into one of the pairs of brackets if you like. So for example, you could say this is equal to -x -7 times x minus 11, or you could put the minus into the second pair of brackets and multiply the second to the terms x and -11 by -1, and you would get -x plus 11, which would basically be rewritten as x plus 7 times 11 minus x. These are all possible answers. I would recommend just leaving it as the thing we've got there. So when you take out a minus or a common factor, just leave it in front of the brackets. That's absolutely fine. I mean, for me, this is a really good response. It's just I'm saying this because in some cases you might have a different answer from the textbook, an answer which looks a little bit different, and just mentioning it could be that they actually put the number inside the brackets, and that's why it looks a bit different. So these are all equivalent responses, perfectly fine. I will be stopping the recording now. Good luck, everyone. I'm right here if you need any help.